guys, welcome to Kidmissing TV. I am your host, Angelina Wilson, and this is kind of a strange one. This is the case of Robert and Benjamin Moore. There is a book called Brothers Silenced about this case. I have not finished reading yet. This case, it is believed that is strongly wound around the Jehovah's Witness faith. Faith, if you follow me on both of my channels, you know that I know a little bit about. Unfortunately. So anyway. Excuse me. I cannot stop blowing my nose. So, Robert and Benjamin. Robert was 13 and Benjamin was 10. They were found in an old car. I miss a T in Robert. On the property that they used to drive around the property that they called Ben's car, which is weird because Robert was older than Ben. But according to the mother, the father had called her at her dad's house where she was a paid caregiver to say, "Hey, I can't find the boys." And at some point he told her their car was missing. They had been shot to death when they were found, shortly after she got home. And they followed the tracks of the car through the property. They lived in Ojima, Wisconsin, which was a small farming community. Some say it was a double suicide, a murder-suicide, something like that. And some say it was a double homicide. One of the persons of interest is their father. Not because of his faith, but because of the fact that he so strongly believed that if his boys left the church and they died, not in the truth, as they call it being in the truth, that when Armageddon came and all the people were risen to awake on paradise earth, as they call it, that his boys wouldn't be there. Because he already believed his wife, her sister, those who had left the truth, wouldn't be there. And he couldn't bear the thought of his sons not being there. So he had given them a dirt bike. They called it a motorcycle. It was a mini bike, a dirt bike, a motorized dirt bike, and to keep them in the church. So they were taught that their mother and their aunt weren't coming back to Paradise Earth with them. So and somebody said something about heaven in something that I read. That's not a Jehovah's Witness belief. They believe, based on something in Revelations, and in the way that they interpret this particular passage of Revelations, that only 44,000 chosen people will go to heaven to rule beside God. I don't know. Now, it is said the boys were unhappy in the faith. And I think it partly probably had to do with school and stuff, because you have to remember in that faith, in the Jehovah's Witness faith, they do not pledge the flag in the morning. They either leave the room or sit it out. They do not participate in class parties for holidays, birthdays, whatever. There's a lot of things that make them stand out. The kids don't want to stand out. Excuse me. And I don't know where they got a gun from, because their faith is pacifist. They're conscientious objectors to war. They don't believe in military service. So maybe they had a gun for varmints. I don't know. And the gun had the wrong sized. How do I explain this? It would have been extremely difficult, if not impossible, for one of the boys using a butter knife to get the casing out, to put a new one in, to end their life after ending the life of their brother. Because while they were both 22 shells, one was a 22 long and one was a 22 short. This was supposed to take a short, and it had long in it. Seems to me there would have been a back out, like a blowout, if the shells were getting stuck. I mean, I don't know 0.1% about this stuff, but it seems to me that something's wrong there. I also don't know why they called it Ben's car when Ben was the younger boy, unless he was more interested in driving. When they went down the trail, because they didn't drive the family vehicle all the way down the trail. They drove it partway down, and Dad walked down, leaving Mom and the baby in the car. What was the gunshot she heard then? It was a butter knife, but pulling the casings out with a butter knife would have been nearly impossible. They did experiments. The casing would have had to have been pulled out with needle nose pliers, and that would have been more than the boys could have done. And it happened on August 30th, 1993, by the way. It was officially ruled a double suicide, but the investigation had a lot of issues. It is widely believed that they were killed over faith issues. And I know, God rest his soul, that my friend's family would highly disagree with this video. But between issues in the sheriff's department and issues with this faith, that a lot of people just did not understand and still don't understand. Unless you're in it, I don't think you fully understand it. I don't think you can. And so, excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me. My nose. Okay. It's everyone has, depending on what church you go to, their own faith, and they follow the beliefs of that faith. And some faiths are more controversial than others, including this one. I personally don't believe that any religion is more right than any other religion when it comes to they don't like to call themselves a Christian religion. And in some ways they're not. But I just don't believe that how do I put this? I don't believe that you need to pick apart any form of worship. Worship the way God calls it on your heart to worship. Do I think that some, they wouldn't call themselves a denomination, they don't call themselves a church, it's a kingdom hall. Some religions don't follow the Bible. Yeah, they do. And I think this is one of them. But that is purely my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. You know, it's to me, being a part of a church or a religion means that you're following what the word says. They're following what they believe the word says. And there are, and I will leave links to a documentary as well as links to a podcast about the case. In the description, because I think it's important that you get all sides when they're available. You know what I mean? I am actually surprised, based on what I know, that the parents stayed together after the mother left the church. Or not the church, left the truth, as they call it. And I use quotes to be respectful, because they believe that they are in the truth. I don't think one religion is more true than any other. That being said, I don't think your religion should be about the name of your denomination. Just because I happen to be Congregationalist doesn't mean that I believe that Baptists and Methodists and Catholics are all wrong. It just means that that's the church I choose to attend. And I go to a Bible study where we study the Word. We don't say, this is the Word according to, the Congregationalist. This is the Word according to the Word. And our teacher has theologians that she trusts, that she uses quotes from and stuff. This is loose. That aren't necessarily all, and probably most likely are not all Congregationalist. Who cares? So, just put that in there. There we go. So yeah. So I don't think it matters what you call your particular denomination or household worship. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. So. There we go. Okay, whoops. And that is my opinion. I can't believe my nose is still stuffed up. Excuse me. A lot of people, including a female officer who was involved in the case, feel that the mother's up to her eyeballs in it. I don't know one way or the other. I really don't. I mean, her interview in the documentary, you can take that for what you want. Make your own opinions of it, honestly. So, that's really all I have on the case of Robert and Benjamin Moore. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm sorry I keep blowing my nose. I will see you on Friday. Bye, guys. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. To all my new subscribers, let's keep going. We'll make 750 by Easter. Bye, guys.